It's a very good afternoon. You're watching ZTN News Blitz. Let's take a look at our top stories. Zimbabwe losing 100 kilograms of gold every month. Makandiwa prophecies stolen. It gets cool in Zimbabwe as Cool and the Gang leader arrives. And in sport, Chevron's coach concedes Pakistan were too good. Zimbabwe is losing 100 kilograms of gold to smuggling every month, according to government. Yesterday, a 33-year-old man traveling from Zimbabwe was arrested at the OR Tambo International Airport in South Africa for illegal possession of gold worth 11 million rand. His arrest comes 6 months after former Zimbabwe football boss Henrietta Rushwaya was arrested at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport with 6 kilograms of gold. Mines and Mining Development Parliamentary Portfolio Committee Chairman Edmund Karatigwa said investigations by Parliament showed that small-scale miners and artisanal miners are the main culprits in gold smuggling.
Our main findings are that gold is being smuggled, particularly from artisanal and small-scale miners, through informal buyers working with strategic collaborators. We recommend that these people, this group of people, be accounted for. They must belong to a group, they must belong to an association in one way or the other.
Zimbabwe Miners Federation Chief Executive Wellington Takavarasha said government should formalize small-scale and artisanal miners to plug leakages.
What we have always been pushing for government to do is to formalize, like whatever every country all in the region, most African countries, they formalize illegal mining. When we formalize in the country, it's 40,000 that are registered in terms of the Mines and Minerals Regulation Act. And 1.5 million people illegal mining. Like I remember the other time government was saying if somebody is taking gold, that's fine. But there was no one because criminality, actually being found in possession of gold without the papers, you get arrested. That's what everyone else doing in Africa now. Tanzania, that's why Tanzania is now one of the biggest gold producing countries because they formalize the makurukos.
Meanwhile, the alleged gold smuggler who was nabbed in South Africa has been granted bail. Tashinga Nyasha Masinire was granted 100,000 rand bail by the Kempton Park Regional Court. South Africa-based journalist Jonisai Maromo, who was following the case, gives us more.
I had a conversation with the spokesperson for the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation in South Africa. It's Lieutenant Colonel Pilani Nkwalase, who told us that the suspect has appeared in the Kempton Park Regional Court and they've been released on bail. The name of the suspect at this stage can be shared as Tashinga Nyasha Masimire, who the police did not give me the nationality, but they said the person traveled from Zimbabwe to come into South Africa and they were arrested in possession of the gold, which was unlicensed. The matter will return to court in July.
A Public Accounts Parliamentary Portfolio Committee meeting was aborted this morning after 2 committee members were involved in a scuffle. Norton legislator Themba Mliswa and MDC-T Midlands Province Proportional Representation MP Memory Mbondia clashed during the meeting, with the latter claiming that Mliswa attacked her and damaged her mobile phone. She had reportedly recorded Mliswa as he was engaging in a fierce argument with the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Brian Dube. But Mliswa refutes Mbondia's claims. He instead claims it was Mbondia who attacked him. Mbondia refused to speak to the media. We, however, managed to speak to Mliswa.
I never fight women. That's what happens. She punched me here. She took my bag. I've still not counted how much money was in here. And my point was we cannot, as Parliament, raise issues which are before the courts. If we have problems, we then go to Legal Counsel of Parliament, which tells us what to do. And then prejudices the case at the end of the day. It's a separation of power. The 3 pillars of state and so forth. But you've witnessed for yourself, it is always the women who complain that men are beaten, but today you saw me being beaten.
The committee was set to receive oral evidence from the Zimbabwe Electricity Supply Authority and Intratrack Zimbabwe on the Gwanda Solar Project, but the meeting was adjourned following the scuffle. The Norton legislator argued that the matter was still before the courts and therefore could not be heard before the committee. Other members of the committee wanted to proceed with the hearing. The deadlock led to the meeting being aborted. ZTN's Tichawana Chikono spoke to Brian Dube, chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee.
More like he was insisting that the person was not supposed to be summoned before us to answer certain issues because he has numerous cases at court. And the feeling of the other committee members was that the issues before the courts were different because the forensic report is not subject to any legal proceedings in court, and we needed him to clarify on just certain issues on what we wanted to understand, whether indeed he was paid the money in full as reflecting in the audit report and whether he intends to fulfill the obligations in that contract. Simple, those were the issues that we wanted to find out from him. As far as I'm concerned, my interpretation of the law is different. The defense of sub judice is raised by the individual concerned, and it's not the other way around. So the witness is the one who must actually, after being asked a certain question, to defend and answer that. I'm not able to answer to that question because it's pending before any process. That's my understanding of that. It is actually a defense that is raised by that individual, and if that individual does not raise it, it's not an issue at all.
The $259 million Kazungula Bridge, constructed where the borders of Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana and Namibia meet, has been officially opened. The 932-meter-long bridge was officially opened earlier today in Kasane, Botswana. The bridge is expected to smoothen the flow of northbound traffic. Before its construction, vehicles would stop at either side of the Zambezi River to be shipped across the river by barges. Botswana and Zambia spearheaded the construction of the bridge before extending an invite to Zimbabwe to join the project in March 2018. Zimbabwe rejoined the project and is expected to meet a third of the total cost of the facility. President Mnangagwa is in Botswana for the official opening of the bridge. He joined other heads of state who include President Edgar Lungu of Zambia, Botswana's President Mokgweetsi Masisi, President Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and President Philippe Nyusi of Mozambique. Zimbabwe's capital, Harare, is operating with just one substantive departmental director. A development observers say is affecting service delivery. 6 other departments in the local authority are being headed by acting directors. Only the Health Services Director, Dr. Prosper Chonzi, is substantive. Other directors have pending corruption cases before the courts. Local government expert and lecturer at the Midlands State University, Vincent Chakunda, speaks on the situation at the local authority.
And the major issue that arises because of that kind of an arrangement is that the level of commitment of this acting of the heads of departments to their posts is questionable. At the same time, they also cannot make substantive policy decisions. Why? Because they are acting. So I think it's one issue that really require to be addressed as a matter of urgency, so that we have people who are substantive heads of departments and at the same time they are committed to their duties and can make substantive decisions.
Harare Provincial Development Coordinator Tafadzwa Muguti said the local authority could not appoint new substantive officials until pending HR investigations on misconduct and court cases have been completed. He said the acting heads are providing stability at the local authority.
We cannot appoint sustainable posts or permanent people until we rectify and we conclude all the other HR matters. So hearings have started. There are 2 sides of this. There's the administrative issues, where it's basically the labor laws, where we need to find out was there misconduct, the code of conduct for the city council. And if so, those people can be dismissed or charged or suspended likewise. But there's also the criminal element, which is also happening within our courts right now. So we also have to let that process proceed.
Harare has been dogged by a number of challenges in terms of service provision, particularly clean water, refuse collection and a poor state of roads. Some residential areas have gone for over 10 years without water supply, while others have to contend with growing heaps of uncollected garbage. Our correspondent Blessing Monatsi joins us live from the Avenues area in Harare, where a mini dump site has developed. Good afternoon, Blessing. How stinky is the situation?
Well, thank you. I am at the corner of 3rd Street and 5th Avenue right here in Harare's Avenues area, an area that is traditionally known to be habited for most bachelors and also young couples. The site where I am right now is an eyesore. As you can see, garbage has not been collected for more than weeks, for many weeks rather, as we have been told by some of the residents and the local authority, the City Council, citing logistical challenges, particularly the shortage of fuel as their main challenge. But as you can see here, the skip bins have not been moved, and it actually is very difficult for the vehicle that is supposed to remove this skip bins to actually make its way, as garbage has covered the whole area where the trucks are supposed to come in with. If you look particularly just to my left, if you can move with me, this skip bin is obviously not going to be functional anymore. It's actually turned upside down. What use is it going to be? Credit, as we were speaking to some of the residents, saying that some of the people that are involved with the recycling have actually kept the garbage in check. If you can see amongst the edges, you can actually see that there's been some sweeping of some sort to just contain the garbage within a specific area. But the local residents are also culprits, as we understand that during the evenings they come in to dump their garbage in this place, an area that is designated for the municipal workers that sweep the streets during the day. This is their designated area where they're supposed to dump their rubbish, which is then supposed to be removed by the City Council. Is there an end in sight for this problem? We remain to see. It's back to you.
Moving on, prominent Zimbabwean prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa of the United Family International Church has lost hundreds of sermons and prophecies to robbers. According to church spokesperson Pastor Prime Kufa, robbers broke into Makandiwa's Christ TV studios and stole 571 hard drives with recordings dating as far back as 2013. This is the second time that Makandiwa has been robbed. 2 years ago, some Christ TV staff allegedly connived with pastors from rival churches and stole recordings of Makandiwa's teachings before they were released. Kufa said a police report was made and investigations are underway.
This ministry has seen more than half its important and confidential assets being taken away. These assets include 571 hard drives. Yes, you heard me right, 571 hard drives, with recordings stretching as far back as 2013. These hard drives have all prophecies by Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, most of which are yet to be fulfilled. There are also healings there, and of course teachings, videos of charity work, pastors' seminars and leaders' seminars, videos of building projects, counseling sessions, which of course those are confidential stuff, not meant for the public. All that was taken and is in the hands of those who always wished us ill.
Meanwhile, police are yet to comment on the matter. An off-duty police officer attached to the Zimbabwe Republic Police Support Unit has been arrested for illegally releasing 7 deportees from the Beitbridge Quarantine Center after taking bribes. The police officer was busted by his colleagues soon after escorting the group from the facility on Friday. He wasn't asked to plead to charges of criminal abuse of office as a public officer when he appeared before magistrate Vavariro Gabi at the weekend. Our Beitbridge correspondent Tupeo Mlea is on the line to give us more.
Mudadis was arrested on Friday afternoon after charging each of the border jumpers 250 rands. He was arrested after taking the bribe by his fellow police officers who had monitored his movements soon after escorting the 7 from the quarantine facility. Mudadisi has since appeared before Bedbridge Magistrate Ms. Vavariro Kavi, charged with criminal abuse of office as a public officer. She remanded the accused person in custody to May 24 trial. Prosecuting Mr. Ronald Mugwagwa said the accused person was approached by one of the deportees who asked him to facilitate his escape from the quarantine. In return, Mudadisi then charged him 250 rands and asked him to mobilize more people. He then managed to mobilize 6 others and gave the money to Mudadisi, who was then arrested just outside the quarantine center in Bedbridge.
American musician and founder of Kool and the Gang jazz ensemble, Robert Gang, is in the country. Bell landed at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport in Harare this afternoon. Bell and his Kool and the Gang outfit became one of the most inspired and influential funk units during the 70s and one of the most popular R&B groups of the 80s after their breakout hit Celebration in 1979. Bell and his spokesperson, Gregory Turner, spoke to ZTN's Itai Mutiniri on his mission in Zimbabwe.
One thing that I want to do is, I call it power concerts. When we do this, we want to do it with solar energy, where the energy comes from the sun and to the grid, not those old generators that we used to have back in the day. So that's something that we're working on, solar energy, solar powered concerts, and bringing in friends around the world.
What we're planning here also, you might know, is the largest unity concert ever held on the African continent. We're looking at 2 venues, Margolis Resort in Chitungwiza, or Chi-Town, and also Victoria Falls. Now the significance of that is to bring global Kool and the Gang fans and music fans in general to participate in a 2-day music festival that'll be larger than any ever held on the African continent. And I stress that because we are urging our brothers Jay-Z, we're urging Kanye West, we're challenging P. Diddy, all of the other brothers to come and help African entertainers reach a higher level of performance and to earn more money for the country and help the image of the country.
South Africa's ruling party, the African National Congress, says it's concerned about the leaking of its internal discussions to the media. In a statement, ANC spokesperson Paul Mabe said there is a growing tendency to leak discussions of the party to the media. The party was holding its National Executive Committee virtual meeting over the weekend, and several discussions, including audio recordings, have been leaked to the media. It was the same meeting from which suspended Secretary General Esma Khashoggi was booted out. Twitter has launched a new tip jar feature that lets people send money to others on the social network. The company says the feature is an easy way to support the incredible voices that make up the conversation. To begin with, only a select group of people can receive tips, a group Twitter said was made up of creators, journalists, experts, and non-profit organizations. Tech expert Edwin Chabuka unpacks this feature for us.
A Twitter user will be able to send or receive tips to and from other Twitter users, and the hope is that those who are making good enough content on Twitter or are pushing for an impactful cause have a way of receiving funds through the platform. At the moment, it's only available for select Twitter English creators, journalists, experts, and non-profits. It's a big friction point that has been removed for Twitter users. So bringing it home, what does it mean for select groups based in Zim? The perennial issue has always been the ability to receive payment as well as to cash out. Zimbabwean cards are a hit and miss when it comes to being accepted by payment platforms, so that is something to look for. In the event that the card is accepted and you can receive payment, there is also another hurdle of cashing out. For example, if you have a funded PayPal account that can receive money and is linked to a Zimbabwean bank account, you will not be able to transfer that money from PayPal into the linked bank, something that you may need to navigate. Twitter also mentions that payment service availability will vary by region, meaning it might take a little while longer for the full service to get to Zim. If everything goes well, then these select groups, the creators, the journalists, the experts, and the non-profits can have more avenues of earning revenue.
The American government issued emergency legislation on Sunday after the largest fuel pipeline in the country was hit by a ransomware cyber attack. The Colonial Pipeline carries 2.5 million barrels a day, 45% of the East Coast supply of diesel, petrol and jet fuel. It was completely knocked offline by a cyber criminal gang on Friday. Experts say fuel prices are likely to rise by 2 to 3%, but the impact will be far worse if it goes on much longer. And with that, we switch now to sports news, where Zimbabwe cricket coach Laltan Rajput has lamented missing some of his senior players due to injury for the Pakistan Test series. The visitors claimed the two-match Test series after recording an innings and 147 runs win over Zimbabwe this morning. Speaking in a post-match Zoom media conference, the Zimbabwe coach commended the efforts of the young players, but admitted there is work to be done for better results.
Let's be very honest, Pakistan is one of the best teams in the world, and to play against them, we really had to have our best players. If you look at that, we were missing our senior guys like Sean Williams, Raza, then Craig. So we had a young side as well. So I still feel that there is a lot of work to be done. So work is in progress, and we have thrown these young guys into the big league. And we got to wait for them to flourish, and it's a good thing that they have been, they have fought well. If you look at the second innings, we tried to fight it well, but yes, there is a lot of work to be done still.
And still with cricket, former Zimbabwe cricket captain Elton Chikumbura continues spreading his cricket development initiative across the country. A week after launching the Chikumbura Cricket Academy in Harare, Chikumbura set up another centre in Bindura over the weekend. The Elton Chikumbura Cricket Academy is in partnership with the Mashonaland Central Cricket Association. Bindura is one of the centres that include Old Hararians and Takashinga.
I'm happy with the numbers that came today. There's so many boys and girls that came today, and I'm happy to start working with the Bindura Center. So it's a very exciting time, especially opening outside from Harare, a place like Bindura where, not really recognized when it comes to cricket, but I think it's a good step.
PSL giants Highlanders have unveiled their 2021 squad ahead of the PSL restart. Some of the players confirmed to be part of the squad include former FC Platinum midfielder Winston Mango, 2019 Soccer Star of the Year Joel Ngozo, midfielder Ngobizita Masugu, and highly rated Vukosi Swanda. The PSL will resume this month after 4 tournaments in 4 different towns before the league returns later this year. It has been a disappointing script so far for Zimbabwe in preparation for the Tokyo Olympics. With only rowing and swimming likely to feature for the country, the disappointment could grow. The biggest question across the world for now is, can the games go ahead anyway? A state of emergency in Japan's capital city has been extended until the end of the month, with citizens increasingly angry about staging what they believe will be a super spreader event. And that's it from us on News Blitz. Now you can connect with us on our social media platforms: Twitter at ZTN News, Facebook, Zim Papers TV Network, Instagram at ZTN. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel ZTN and visit our website ztn.co.zw for more updates. Thanks for watching.